Let's go. You know, I've always heard a lot of people say things like, oh, it takes too long to eat healthy or whatever, and you know, it's expensive and it, you know, like it takes so long, you know, that's why I can't do it. Well, I'm about to show you how easy it is and how quick it is to eat a healthy, nutritious meal. Well, some people would call it healthy. I call it nutrient dense. So, I'm gonna show you that now. All right, guys, I'm in my kitchen. I'm about to eat right now, and if you're gonna see, it's not gonna take that long to prep nutrient-dense foods. It just takes about a snap of the fingers. If you'll see, it's honestly, it's that quick. Watch. You see that? So I'm back. If you're wondering what happened to the oatmeal, well, it got eaten, and it was, yes, it was absolutely delicious. The self-proclaimed best oatmeal prepper right here. Yours truly, this guy. No one makes a better bowl of oatmeal than this guy. It's a bowl of deliciousness and gains. Suck on that, Ramsey. I just wanted to keep this video pretty short and basic and talk about, just real quick, just a few moments of your time. Maybe if you've seen how I've been eating based on my previous vlogs, and pretty much if you saw my last video, which was called Vegan versus Keto Health War Part 2. Anyways, and in that one I went much more in depth as to some of the health consequences of going either on a ketogenic diet or a vegan lifestyle. And if you notice, I actually leaned towards one side, primarily based on science. Based on the studies that I found and based on my own research and my own, based on my own experience as well, because I've experienced both. I've experienced the keto lifestyle, and I'm actually now experiencing the vegan lifestyle. I wouldn't even say keto is a lifestyle. I would say keto is a diet. It's not a lifestyle because I don't think it's sustainable long term. It's gonna lead to heart disease. But that's a different topic. Make sure I'll put the link to that video somewhere up here. If you're wondering, yes, I've transitioned over into the vegan lifestyle. I don't necessarily like that title. I personally don't have a problem with it. I just don't like titles. You know, I don't like this whole, you know, meat eater. I'm a meat eater, or I'm a, you know, plant eater. What, dude? You're a person. You get what I'm saying? Like, I hate this shit, and then people like start to polarize and they start to like fight all the time. I mean, can we not? It's just very immature, if you ask me, you know? So, whatever. The reason why this happened, and it's actually a pretty silly story. It all happened from one single experience, and it was, some may consider it an insignificant experience, but for me it was actually something significant. So it was about a month ago from today, somewhere around about a month ago today. I woke up and, you know, I'm like, you know, drinking water, getting all my stuff ready, and I was doing some work, you know, drink some coffee, whatever, and I had to throw out some of my recyclables. And when I went to go throw out my recyclables, as I'm going outside, you know, it's a kind of droopy day. It was like hazy rain, and you know, it wasn't like pouring down or nothing, but just kind of hazy. Anyways, then as I go outside to throw out my recyclables, I see this little bird. Seriously, and it's like this little bird about like that big. I mean, it was super small. It's this adorable little thing, and it's just looking at me, you know, and it's like this little vulnerable creature. You know, I'm looking at him, I'm like, hey buddy. And I'm thinking maybe like, you know, this little bird fell out of the nest, because sometimes I have birds that'll build nests on like the gutters of my house. It's all cool, I leave them, you know, I don't mind. Or, you know, they'll build nests around my bushes here and stuff. And yeah, you know, that's what birds doing bird things, right? You know, the birdie's just like looking at me like, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you know, so I throw the recyclables and I look at him, right? I'm looking at him and he's just staring at me, and you know, he's kind of scared. Obviously, he's seriously like that big. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, man, he's probably hungry, or she, I don't know the sex of the bird. So I go inside, you know, I come back inside and I'm like, what do birds eat? And besides, I don't have much food here. So I was like, well, I don't know, maybe it'll eat a strawberry. So I go outside and I put a strawberry by it, and you know, it kind of like moves away from me. It's kind of scared. It sees me, I'm like this giant thing, and it's like this little thing. And so, you know, I put the strawberry by it, and I'm like, all right, you know, if you don't want to eat it, it's all good, you know. But nonetheless, I felt bad for it. And I went back inside to my house, and I couldn't get this little bird off my mind for some reason. You know, I got worried about the bird. So it was like 10-15 minutes went by, and I was like, I'm gonna go check on my bird. You know, I'm like, I've got an attachment now to this bird. So I go outside, and the strawberry's still there, but the bird's gone. I don't know what happened to the bird. I don't even know where it came from. But I actually got worried. You know, like I'm looking around, like what happened to it? You know, did a dog come and eat it or something like that? Not like we have stray dogs, or a cat maybe. I don't know. I didn't see it. Maybe it learned how to fly or something. It was gone, and actually almost, you know, I felt so bad for it, you know, because it looks so vulnerable. You know, I wish I could do something to like help it, and I couldn't. So I just felt bad, and I don't know. Again, I don't even know if it's okay. You know, I've always considered myself an animal lover to a certain degree, you know, and so later that night, you know, it's time for me to eat, and what's on my plate? Chicken drumsticks, and I couldn't eat it. You know, I just started to reflect on everything. You know, how can I actually feel bad about a little bird that's out and free in the open, when the chicken that I'm eating was once a little bird, was once a little chick. You know, probably lived a horrific life in some factory farm, and I'm, you know, paying tribute to it by purchasing this, and I'm contributing to this horrific system. And so I just felt like this immense amount of guilt, and you know, I actually kind of felt nauseous, and I was like, I can't do this. I felt disgusted with myself, and I honestly, I felt like a hypocrite, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't. And something in the back of my mind always knew that eating meat just wasn't right. I knew especially now over the last few years, I knew that we can get all our caloric needs and our macro and micronutrients can be met from plant sources. I just always kept it in denial. I just never faced the problem. You know, I was solely in that pre-contemplation phase. If you haven't seen, which I made a video on that, on the TTM, Trans Theoretical Model of Change, I'll put a link to that video right here. I was in stage 1. I was in pre-contemplation. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I was like, it doesn't matter. You know, we got to eat somehow, whatever. And I just didn't want to address it. I wasn't ready to address it. Even though in the back of my mind, I knew what I was supposed to be doing. And so I came to realization of that. And then I did even further research in regards to, you know, the atrocities of factory farms and even regular farms and all that stuff. And when you come down to it, at the core of everything, it's not necessary for these animals to die. It's not necessary for us to survive. If anything, we actually thrive off of not consuming them. based on the science. Again, and I know what some of you may think, well, what about protein? You know, what about iron? What about, you know, B12 or whatever? Well, all that comes from plants, with the exception of, well, B12 comes from bacteria. And the animals, actually, probably the animals that most people eat, they get supplemented with B12. So what you're eating is a recycled version of B12. So if you want to get to the source of B12, you would actually have to eat from, you would have to eat bacteria from an unsanitized area. You know, not a place, you know, a natural agriculture, a natural area, if you will. But nonetheless, we can get it from fortified foods and all that stuff. But so the point is that it's not necessary. It's not necessary for us to survive or even thrive off these animals. If anything, they're actually making us sick. And the research shows it. You can't deny it. Saturated fat and cholesterol are not good for you. But that's not what this video is about. This video is not necessarily to debate the health effects of eating animal products. The point is if you're wondering, yes, I've switched over to a whole foods, plant-based lifestyle. If you want to call that veganism, by all means, you can call it that. I don't get offended. You know, it's all good. But that's what I do. I don't want to support this industry. So I don't want to support the unnecessary pain, killing, and eventual mutilation of these animals anymore, because it's just wrong. And it's an abomination to humanity, what we're doing, what we're actually doing, because we're better than this. And these animals don't deserve that. And it's just not necessary. That's pretty much the whole point of this video. I know it was a pretty plain Jane video, but nonetheless, I just felt like that's something I needed to discuss. If you disagree with anything that I say, please let me know in the comment section down below. In the meantime, if you liked the video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe so I can keep you updated on some extra juicy and informational content on the weekly. I'm the Natural Hulkster. I want to thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for the next one. Damn, that was slow.